And let's introduce our final athletes, all British. We begin with a man who is the silver medalist in the 1500 metres from Paris 2024 and also the reigning world champion in the men's 1500 metres, Josh Kerr. And he has the loudest trousers in London. Branded picture on the far end, if you wouldn't mind, Josh. Thank you very much. Have a seat. And next we welcome contesting the long jump tomorrow, the double world champion in the heptathlon, Katarina Johnson-Thompson. And finally, a double European champion in Paralympic sprints and long jump for Great Britain, Zack Skinner. At the far end, Zach, if you wouldn't mind. You just stand at the far end for a quick photo. Thanks. Thank you very much. I'll sit over here so that your eyes are facing forward for any further pictures or filming. And we'll start with Josh. It's been a month or so since we saw you race. How would you assess your current form in the final act of the day, the last race, the men's 1500, which is loaded?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome race. I've had a very smooth last, 5-6 weeks since the last Grand Slam, and so, I'm just looking to go out there, run something fast, and put something on the, on the leaderboard that will, make me proud going into the World Championship. So, it's been a great season for me so far. A bit of a slow start, but we're getting into a position where I feel very confident.
And you know a little bit about this venue. You were a kid running in the 2017 World Championships, and you've done an Emsley Carmile before. The crowd really is something else.
It really is, and I think it's a huge allure for athletes to come. I mean, I've had a bit of a hiatus from the Wanda Diamond League for a while, just due to timing issues for me during the season. But I'm very excited to be back, and it's the most incredible Diamond League there is out there, and I'm just looking to put on something that's worth everyone's time over in the last event.
What would satisfy you tomorrow?
I'm here to win, number one, but I think I can run pretty fast. So I would say go out, be aggressive, and see what we can come up with.
And as the number one seed, you probably get some say in the pacemaking. What have you requested?
I believe we're coming through the 800 in about 151. So, yeah. So
that would be British record schedule, if not a bit quicker.
Yeah, so that's the idea. British record would be a great way for me to run this meet. But at the end of the day, when you have a race like this, with it's so packed and loaded with great athletes, I think it's number one priority. You're going to win, and you're going to get a good enough time from that. But I'm not here for a slow race.
And what happens from here? We've still got 8 or 9 weeks to the World Championships. You get a wild card as defending champion. What's your program off the back of this?
If I can keep training the way I'm training, then I'm going to be in a great spot. And so when you do that, the races come to you a little bit. Obviously, I've got British Champs coming up in a couple of weeks. That's an important meet of the year. And then from there, we'll see what we want to do. But it's making sure that I stay smooth with the training and don't fight the body too much and let the races come to me.
You spend most of your year on the West Coast, one way or another, Albuquerque or Seattle. Do you miss Scotland?
Massively, yeah. I miss family, I miss Scotland, I miss, a lot about it. But, sadly, this is a short career, This is a career that I'm not able to do for my whole life, and I have to take advantage of it as much as I can. And so that's where the sacrifices come in, and the family comes to me as much as possible. So I've got a lot of family with me this week, and, I feel very blessed for that.
Finish this sentence, if you wouldn't mind. London would be a great host city for the 2029 World Athletics Championships because?
It's the most magical stadium in the world, I believe. I think, anyone that stands in there tomorrow will realize the energy that a London and British crowd can bring to World Championships. And, I was able to experience that a lot. Some of us were able to experience that in 2017. And I would love to probably cap my career doing that.
Thank you very much. Let's turn to KJT. You were here in 2012 as a mere schoolgirl, presumably, all those years ago. What are your memories of the stadium back then, the first time it ever hosted anything?
I know it feels like a short career, but it is actually a really long career. It's been so long. I actually competed in Stratford last week, and where my hotel was, I had the walk to the stadium, and it actually coincided with walking through the old Olympic Village where we stayed, and I got so nostalgic. And I don't like to think of it too much because then I realise how long I've been around, but it's a very, very special place and a very special stadium, and I've got such fond memories of competing here. And yeah, I think it's been the highlight of the 2 championships here, even though my first one, I was 19, so I wasn't expected to do much, and the 2017 one was a little bit upsetting, but I still have only good memories of this place.
And this is your first long jump since Paris Olympics. What are your thoughts on how that should go for you?
You know, it's a season opener for a start. I do want to come here and compete and put down a good mark. I want to come here, and I think this has always been a great leap into the highest of, every time I've come here, I've done a good mark, and it's given me confidence going into my heptathlon, and I would like that again. Obviously it's a season opener, but I feel like training's been going well. I feel 100% healthy, and that's the most important thing for me, is to feel healthy, and then I don't have to think about my body. I can just think about my cues and my performance. So I hope that is the case tomorrow for me.
You've always made it clear that from your first beginnings in the sport right the way through, and in a long career still going well, that you are a multi-eventer. You're not somebody that will ever go away and specialise in an individual event because you love heptathlon so much. Is that part of the reason for your longevity? Do you think that you love your event, you love your athletics?
I do love my event, and the more I have achieved, especially in the last 3 years, the more that I don't want to stop. You know, it's such a fortunate career, and I'm so grateful that I'm still here at 32 and still getting personal best and still getting medals. And I have dabbled in single events before. In 2015 and 2017, I qualified for the long jump and high jump alongside the heptathlon. And I think once I focused on the heptathlon in 2019, that's when I ultimately won my first world championship medal. So for me, high jump's my first love, but heptathlon is my only love, you know?
What do you think it's going to take to get 3 in a row, or three heptathlon global titles in Tokyo?
It's going to be so hard. You know, the event standard has been rising and rising throughout the years, and you know, 6'6" used to always guarantee you a medal, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I just want to make sure that I'm in the best shape I can be to put down that a score. And if I can do that, then I hope to be, you know, part of the medals for sure.
Just to touch on the other great love of your life, what do you think of the Liverpool transfer policy so far?
It's looking good. It's looking very good, and yeah, that's you know, that sport inspires me so much because of the Liverpool fan base sort of morals is something that I like to take into my sport too. But yeah, it's looking really good for LFC next season.
Finish this sentence if you would, please. London would be a great host city for the 2029 World Athletics Championships because?
Of the fans and the noise that they make. We always pack out the stadiums, we always support our athletes, and every time I've been in the stadium, including tomorrow, I'm excited to just be a part of this competition for the audience.
Thank you very much. Zak, I spoke to you over at the warm-up track, and we're checking out your mullet, and I was going to ask about your dad's hairstyle because he was part of the England World Cup final rugby union team back in the Will Carling day. You say he's still got a mullet now?
Yeah, he's consistent. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, yeah, for as long as I've known him, he's always had one. And then I decided to follow in his footsteps. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I'm not sure, but yeah, you could say it runs in the family now. And
you were here.
Yeah, 2017 was my debut championships, and yeah, it was the best 3 weeks of my life. I think I looked around this place with just rose-tinted glasses on for 3 weeks, and it was pretty much bigger and better than I could have ever dreamed. I think now coming back here, it just brings back those memories. Even just walking here from the hotel, that's where we stayed in the World Championships, that same hotel, and it's just like, it's only good memories and just always been a good time in Stratford and at the Olympic Stadium.
You and Kat are both coached by Aston Moore at Loughborough. How does that work out? Who would win over 60 metres?
Kat would get smoked over 60. But no,
I think that if we did 60 meters like 10 times, then my endurance will come in, and I try and get onto Zach. But unfortunately, he's stepped up now, and he's in the distance for me.
Well, Kat isn't bringing up his hills. When we do hill training, it's just me and Kat on a hill. I'm good for about 2 reps, and then she just absolutely chases me down. But no, it's great having each other to train with, and I think we're both able to push each other in our own ways.
You're in a very fierce British-only para mixed category 100 metres tomorrow. What are your thoughts on that? You're going to have to get out pretty quick and be absolutely your best to win it.
Yeah, 100%. The boys are running well this year, and me included. And I think I'm going to have to run close to my personal best or a PB to win it. I think in the mixed para races, it's kind of always a win for everyone. If everyone runs well, then everyone wins in their kind of own way. But for me, I like the idea of being competitive. It doesn't really make any difference to anyone on international terms, but for me, it's a good opportunity to have that rehearsal for the World Championships and be competitive on one of the biggest stages we get.
I didn't realise you're a twin.
Yes.
Very competitive with your twin. Are you identical?
We are identical. I think we competed from birth until now, still going. So no, we both have both done sport our whole lives, and I think it runs in sort of the twin gene just to be competitive.
I know a little bit about that. Your World Championships are in Delhi after Tokyo, so back end of September, almost into October. So probably you're not necessarily looking to hit a peak just yet.
No, yeah, exactly. It's a long season. It's definitely, I think, as everyone's seen this year, everything's been pushed back, which has been very helpful for us being so late. I think the one thing that I trust Aston to do so well is get us ready when we need to be. So just following sort of the plan that he sets out, make sure that I know that I'll be in the best shape come October. If that means PBs now, it just means it's going to be faster in October. So it's exciting.
London would be a great host city for the 2029 World Athletics Championships and Para Athletics Championships because?
Can't beat a London crowd.
That's it. Very good. Thank you. Questions from you. If you raise your hand, the microphone will come to you. And if you wouldn't mind just saying who you are and where you're from for the benefit of the live stream. Who wants to go first? Yeah.
Question for Kat. This is Stuart Weir, Run Blog Run. I probably read a couple of hundred sports autobiographies. Yours would be one of the top 5. Why did you decide to be so honest and to address so many of the difficult things in the book?
I think if you ask me a question, I'll answer it. And not unfortunately, but fortunately, that just is part and parcel of writing a book. If you're going to do it, then you might as well, do it properly and be honest. And as long as it is in some way of help to, the next generation of young athletes who may or may not go through the similar issues, it's just good to talk about certain things and normalize, the struggle of how hard it is to be, an elite athlete. I know it's normal for people to do that at the end of the career and then just tap out, but I didn't see the issue in this, and I think more honest conversations are a good thing.
Thank you. Hold your hand up if you have a question, otherwise we can move. Yes, at the back. Thank you.
Hi, Josh Sakalo from Activate the Burners. You recently started a YouTube channel, I guess at the start of the year. What prompted you to, I guess, showcase the insights of your day-to-day life and your training, and how important do you think that's been, just giving people visibility of what you do and what it is to be a high-performance athlete?
It's a good question. I realized that writing a book would be much more difficult, and so no, I think for me, I was able to reach the top of the sport in 2023, and I wanted to show that you can still do that in the sport without breaking any rules. And so to be able to show a transparent, authentic look of what it takes to be a world champion in the sport, I think there's a place for that for the younger generation coming through. And we're trying to figure out and slowly but surely tailor the videos to what we want them to look like and what people want to see, which is training and racing and things like that. And I think it's important. I think it's important role for me to play now of like, you know, I now have the confidence that I know what I'm doing, and so now I can try and show how you can do that with, you know, playing by the rules in this sport, and I think there's space for that.
We had Mulletgate at this end. You always believe in a fresh fade, don't you, the day before a race? Have you been to the barbers today, Josh?
Of course. Yesterday, yes. You know, it's important. Look good, feel good. I think I've shown that on my press conferences this year, and you know, it's a massive part about, you know, building what we want to build, which is, you know, showing our stories, showing our personalities, and yeah, I think Mulletgate was a funny time. I was a young boy.
Josh, Matt Lawson from The Times. Hairdresser's sitting just there, isn't he? Jeff mentioned, as mentioned to all of you, about the 29 World Athletics Championships. As I understand it, the government is still deliberating over whether it's going to provide that funding that UK Athletics needs to bid. Can you summarise, as a young athlete who was here in 2017, but can you summarise the importance of staging an event like that again in London to the future of your sport?
Definitely. I think, you know, I mean, look around. You know, this stadium was, you know, the epicenter for London 2012, and then it inspired a second generation in London 2017. It's time to do that again. It's time for the UK to step up and realize that the reason that we're sitting here right now, and a big reason that the next crop of athletes that are coming through are competitive in the UK, and we're pushing the boundaries in the UK with global medals across the board, is because of the inspiration of the championships that we're able to see and continue to, you know, hopefully perform at. You know, it was my first ever championships in London 2017, and it was like, I'm not where I want to be, but I can't wait to get there. That's what it was. And without that championships, I probably wouldn't be sitting here today as a favourite going into the 1500 or as a world champion or a multiple-time Olympic medalist. I wouldn't be that, because it takes that kind of effort from a country to be able to have that next crop of athletes. I think we're all very proud of the athletes that we have in the UK, and we need to continue that.
Dave Bromwich from The Sun. A question for Kat. You said it's going to be a tough one at the World Championships with big scores needed. How do you rate your chances? Are you at the moment in what condition? And given different events, which ones are you happiest with at the moment? Which ones are completely at the high level? Which ones need a bit more work before Tokyo?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Just with the difficulty, you say it's going to be a really tough competition in the World Championships coming up. How do you rate your chances? What condition are you in at the moment? What needs to be done going into it?
Yeah, I always rate myself. If I'm a healthy athlete, then, you know, I feel like I can be competitive.
Anybody else? If not, we'll move to one-to-ones. Thank you very much to all three of you. Good luck tomorrow. And we will see you all tomorrow for the first of the Novuna-sponsored London Athletics meets. Thanks very much.